Students, as a part of electrochemistry, today I am going to explain you about the reference electrode. So before going to discuss what exactly is a reference electrode, we have to understand what is the criteria needed or required by any of the substance to act as a reference or standard. What is the criteria required? That criteria required or needed by any of the substance to behave as a reference or standard is its value should not be fluctuated under any circumstances. Its value should not be fluctuated under any circumstance. That is it. That is, whatever the substance which is going to act as a reference or standard, its value should not be decreased or it should not be increased under any circumstances. In order to simplify the things, I'm going to consider one live example for you. Live example. Live example with you. Right. So this is the sugar and the 1 kg bar over here. Right. Now, in order to weigh 1 kg of sugar, what is the reference or the standard over here? In order to weigh the 1 kg of sugar, 1 kg baht over here. So just give me a moment. In order to weigh 1 kg of sugar, 1 kg baht, 1 kg of sugar, 1 kg baht is the reference. Now, just tell me, if there is any fluctuation in the 1 kg baht, that is, if there is any fluctuation in the 1 kg baht, the value of the 1 kg baht, can we accurately measure or weigh the 1 kg of sugar? No, definitely it is not possible. So in order to weigh the 1 kg of sugar accurately, so definitely what we need to do is, we have to make sure that our 1 kg baht is 1 kg weight. That is, its value is not less than 1 kg or it is not more than 1 kg. Right? So what is the 1 kg baht over here? The 1 kg baht in this case is the reference or standard. Now here, if there is any fluctuation in the weight of this 1 kg baht, can we weigh 1 kg of sugar accurately? No, just now discussed. So in the similar fashion, whatever the substance which is going to behave or act as a reference or standard, its value should not be altered or changed under any circumstances. But actually, the electrode potential of the electrode varies with the temperature. Electrode potential of the electrode varies with the temperature. Now, what is the electrode? What should be the nature of the electrode which can behave as the reference or standard? The nature of the electrode which can behave as the reference or standard is its value. Its value means its electrode potential value with temperature should not be changed. If it change also, it should be negligible, because we are saying that whatever the substance which is going to consider as the reference, its value should not be fluctuated under any circumstances, right? But here we are saying that the electrode potential of the electrode varies with the temperature. Now, whatever the electrode which is going to act as a reference, its electrode potential value should not be altered or changed under any circumstances with temperature. If it changes also, the value should be negligible. So otherwise, with the help of the reference electrode, we cannot measure the standard electrode potential of the electrode. So I will get back to that, what exactly is the standard electrode potential at, right? So based upon this stuff which I have explained to you, what is a reference electrode? What is a reference electrode? A single electrode is considered as a reference electrode when the variation of its electrode potential with temperature is negligible. So that is what we are saying. The electrode potential of the electrode is going to be altered or changed, isn't it? But how should be the reference? Its value should not be fluctuated. Now, in that case, what is the electrode which should be chosen as the standard or the reference? Definitely that particular electrode whose electrode potential variation with temperature is negligible should be considered as the reference electrode. Accordingly, what is reference electrode? A single electrode is considered as a reference electrode when the variation of its electrode potential with temperature is negligible. Right? I hope you got it. Now let us discuss the classification of the reference electrode. So these reference electrodes are classified into two types. The one is primary reference electrode and the second one is the secondary reference electrode. What are primary reference electrodes and secondary reference electrode? I am going to discuss in the subsequent classes. So primary reference electrodes are usually the gas electrodes. Primary reference electrodes are usually the gas electrodes. The most familiar example of the primary reference electrode is the standard hydrogen electrode, which can be abbreviated as SHE, or it is also called as normal hydrogen electrode, which can be abbreviated as NHE. So this is about the primary reference electrode. So what is the primary reference electrode? Usually the gas electrodes are the primary reference electrodes, and other than the gas electrodes are the secondary reference electrodes. And the good examples of the secondary reference electrodes includes saturated calomel electrode, which can be abbreviated as SCE, ion selective electrode, which can be abbreviated as ISE, and not only that, other also there, quinhydron electrode, etc. Right. Now, among these primary reference electrodes and secondary reference electrodes, secondary reference electrodes are quite commonly or widely used reference electrodes. This is due to the fact that in the case of the primary reference electrodes, as they are the gas electrodes, it is not easy to handle the gases. Since it is not easy to handle the gases, we are not going to use these primary reference electrodes, which are usually the gas electrodes most widely. So that is the reason secondary reference electrodes are the reference electrodes which are going to be used widely. Right. I hope you got it. Right. Now we have to discuss what is the purpose of this particular reference electrode. What is the importance of the reference electrode? With the help of the reference electrode, we are going to determine the standard electrode potential of the other electrodes. So this is the major importance of the reference electrodes. I'm not saying that only this is the importance of a standard electrode, reference electrode. One of the importance or major importance of the reference electrode is to determine the standard electrode potential of the electrodes. Other than that, these are also used for determination of pH and so on. Now, in this case, if you see here in this figure, so this is the calomel electrode, which is the secondary reference electrode, and it is attached to the zinc electrode. So zinc electrode, so by attaching the zinc electrode, so what for the reference electrode is used? It is used for determining the standard electrode potential of the electrode. Now the zinc is attached to the calomel electrode means what does it mean? That is, we are going to determine the standard electrode potential of the zinc, right? Now do remember, students, that this particular reference electrodes has the dual nature. They can act as anode and undergo oxidation, or they can act as cathode and undergo reduction. So their nature absolutely depends upon the electrode to which it is connected. So if the electrode to which it is connected is acting as anode and undergo oxidation, now our reference electrode act as cathode and undergo reduction. On the other hand, if the electrode to which it is attached act as cathode and undergo reduction. Now the reference electrode act as anode and undergo oxidation. So its behavior or nature absolutely depends upon the electrode to which it is being connected. And in this case, the zinc standard electrode potential is going to be determined. And zinc basically acts as anode and undergo oxidation. So since the zinc act as anode and undergo oxidation, now our reference electrode act as cathode and undergo a reduction process. Right? So this is the importance of the reference electrode, and what is the reference electrode I have discussed, and what is the criteria required by any of the substance to behave as the reference, by considering the sugar and 1 kg baht as an example. And not only that, in this particular video, I've clearly explained what is the reference electrode, and the electrode potential of the electrodes varies with which parameters. So varies with the temperature parameter. And I have classified the reference electrodes into two classes. The one is primary reference electrodes and secondary reference electrodes. And out of primary reference electrodes and secondary reference electrodes, which are most widely used, secondary reference electrodes are most widely used. What is the reason? Because primary reference electrodes are usually the gas electrodes, and it is not easy to handle the gases. That is the reason we will preferably these secondary reference electrodes are being used. And the major importance of the reference electrode is to determine the standard electrode potential of the electrode. So this is not only the importance of the reference electrode. So other important aspects includes determination of pH and so on. So I hope you understood this video, students. So thanks for watching.